I have always looked at fan reactions, whether they be fully supportive or negative or aggressive or whatever they may be, as passion. Fans are just passionate. I'm a fan. I'm the most annoying guy on set because I'm saying, excuse me, you do realize that this should be happening and they wouldn't do that, and you haven't read this, that means this would be impossible. And everyone's just going, Henry, just shut up and do the thing. And I'm like, I don't want to do the thing because he wouldn't do it this way, and he can.
The Witcher 4 trailer just broke the internet, but not the way Netflix hoped. Within hours of its release, the dislike count skyrocketed, the comments turned brutal, and fans across the world declared one thing loud and clear: this isn't the Witcher we fell in love with. The backlash wasn't just about lighting or acting. It was about something deeper, a sense that the magic, the grit, the very soul of the story had vanished. But this storm didn't start with a trailer. It started the day Henry Cavill walked away from the franchise. His exit triggered a chain reaction that would send Netflix into a PR nightmare and fracture one of the most loyal fan bases in streaming history. And if you think this is just about recasting a character, think again, because what happened next revealed the dark truth about how Hollywood treats passion, loyalty, and legacy.
It didn't go well for Netflix or for The Witcher when they debuted the teaser trailer for season 4, giving people their first look at Liam Hemsworth taking over the role for Henry Cavill. You could see by that ratio it didn't go well. 140,000 dislikes to 28,000 likes. Comments full of people just blasting it to pieces, talking about why Henry Cavill left. And of course, the reason Henry Cavill left is because the show went in a completely different direction.
To understand why fans are furious, we need to rewind to the moment everything began to fall apart. When Henry Cavill announced he was leaving The Witcher, fans couldn't believe it. Cavill wasn't just playing Geralt, he was Geralt. A lifelong gamer and fan of the original books, he'd fought behind the scenes to keep the story faithful to its source. Interviews showed his obsession with detail, from armor design to dialogue pulled straight from Sapkowski's writing. So when he suddenly stepped away after season 3, it felt like losing the heart of the show. Officially, Netflix thanked him and moved on. Unofficially, the fandom erupted with one question: why? Rumors spread fast, whispers of creative disagreements, writers mocking the lore, producers wanting a younger, lighter tone. Online forums lit up with speculation. One viral post summed it up perfectly: if Henry's leaving, something's wrong behind the scenes. And they were right, because the moment Netflix announced his replacement, the outrage reached a whole new level. Then came the announcement no one expected: Liam Hemsworth would take over as Geralt of Rivia. The internet froze, then exploded. Some fans stayed polite, saying they'd give him a chance. Most didn't. Memes flooded social media, calling him Diet Geralt, Geralt Light, and the Pretty Witcher. The backlash wasn't personal, it was emotional. Fans didn't see Liam as the rugged, battle-worn hero they'd come to love. He looked too polished, too Hollywood. It wasn't his fault, but the decision felt like another sign Netflix didn't understand what made The Witcher special. Instead of embracing the grounded, mature tone that made the show iconic, the company seemed to be chasing mainstream appeal. Even worse, early leaks suggested tone changes, more humor, less grit. And while Netflix's PR team tried to spin it as a new era for the franchise, fans weren't buying it. Still, a few held on to hope that maybe, just maybe, the trailer would prove everyone wrong. But when that trailer dropped, everything changed. It was supposed to be the comeback moment. Instead, it was a catastrophe. Within minutes of The Witcher 4 trailer going live, the dislike button became a weapon. Fans called out awkward dialogue, overused CGI, and what they described as cosplay-level armor. The internet tore it apart frame by frame. Geralt sounds unsure. The tone feels off. The world looks plastic. Henry Cavill's deep, restrained performance had been replaced with something flashier but hollow. Netflix's caption, Geralt's back only made things worse. One top comment said it all. Geralt's back? No, Henry's gone, and so is the heart. By the end of the first day, the video had millions of views and a ratio that made executives sweat. Netflix issued no statement, hoping silence would cool the fire. But silence, in this case, only added fuel. Because what fans didn't know yet was that the real chaos wasn't happening on YouTube. It was happening behind the camera. Just when fans thought the storm around The Witcher 4 couldn't get any worse, a single leaked clip sent the internet into complete meltdown. It started on a small fan page late one night, a shaky, behind-the-scenes video, barely 30 seconds long. The footage looked like it had been shot secretly, maybe by someone on set. The lighting was harsh, the audio grainy, but you could feel the tension before you could even make out what was being said. In the clip, Liam Hemsworth stood in full costume, his silver wig slightly askew, eyes locked on someone off camera. Across from him, a figure, reportedly one of the show's directors, gestured sharply. Then, through the noise, fans caught the line that would explode across every social feed within hours. Fans expect consistency, Liam. That sentence became a spark. Within minutes, Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok were dissecting every syllable. Was it frustration? Sarcasm? A scolding? Fans played the clip on loop, slowing it down, amplifying the audio, arguing in comment sections like detectives solving a crime. Some claimed Liam snapped back with something like, "I'm trying to give them that." Others thought he looked defeated, shoulders tense, head down. No one knew what the argument was really about, but that didn't matter. The image of Netflix's new Geralt arguing on set was all the fandom needed to confirm what they already feared. This production was falling apart. As the video went viral, theories began to spiral. Some believed Liam was pushing for a more authentic portrayal, closer to Cavill's grounded style, while others thought he was clashing with directors over the tone shift, that new, polished, lighter vision Netflix had been accused of forcing. A few even speculated the entire scene had been a creative disagreement caught in the wrong moment, an actor defending his craft, while the studio wanted spectacle over substance. Whatever the truth was, one thing became crystal clear. Something inside the production wasn't right. Netflix stayed silent, of course. No comment, no clarification, not even a denial. But their silence spoke volumes. In the absence of answers, fans filled the void with their own narratives. Some sympathized with Liam, saying he'd been set up to fail, forced to step into a role impossible to replicate under the shadow of a man who was Geralt in the eyes of millions. Others were less forgiving. He took the job knowing what it meant. One Reddit post read, "Now he's realizing it's not just acting, it's legacy." As the hours turned into days, the video's reach became unstoppable. Reaction channels broke it down frame by frame. Commentators compared Liam's expression to Cavill's past interviews, searching for meaning in every micro-expression. Hashtags like #SetLeakGate and #GeraltMeltdown began trending. Then, in a twist no one saw coming, a supposed insider posted anonymously claiming that this wasn't the only confrontation. "Tensions are high," the post read. "People are tired. The tone keeps changing. The reshoots are endless, and everyone walking on eggshells." Whether true or not, it added fuel to a fire that was already out of control. And here's what made it even more fascinating. The fans weren't just watching anymore. They'd become participants. They were decoding production drama in real time, turning what should have been a fantasy show into a living soap opera about power, art, and ego. The story behind The Witcher 4 was now more compelling than the story within it. By the end of the week, the clip had been re-uploaded hundreds of times, reaction videos racking up millions of views. And somewhere in the chaos, the narrative shifted again. People started feeling sorry for Liam. For the first time, the internet seemed to realize he was trapped, trying to honor a role that wasn't really his, pressured by expectations no actor could meet. "He's not the villain," one viral tweet said. "He's just the replacement caught in the crossfire." But sympathy didn't erase the damage. The leak had confirmed every fan. Suspicion? The production was cracking under its own weight. Netflix's carefully crafted PR wall had crumbled. The illusion of control, gone. Because no matter how many edits, reshoots, or statements they might release later, that raw 30-second clip had done something permanent. It had exposed the truth no press release could hide. The Witcher 4 wasn't just struggling creatively, it was bleeding from the inside. And as fans debated whether the argument was about loyalty, performance, or broken promises, one thing became obvious. This wasn't just about a show anymore. It was about passion versus profit, and the impossible weight of carrying someone else's legend. And just when the dust seemed to settle, something unexpected happened. A silent figure from the past returned to the spotlight, without saying a single word. Because next, Henry Cavill would make his move out of nowhere. Cavill posted a single photo, his old Witcher sword laid across a table with the caption, "Respect is earned." That was it. No mention of Netflix, no hashtags. Just one quiet message that sent shockwaves through the fandom. Within hours, it was trending worldwide. Fans called it the classiest mic drop in Hollywood. Some noticed he'd liked a fan post saying, "You can't replace authenticity." Then came a podcast appearance where he spoke about how the soul of a story depends on how much respect it's given. He never said the word Witcher. He didn't need to. Every fan knew exactly what he meant. It wasn't anger, it wasn't pettiness. It was quiet conviction, and it reignited the fan base overnight. Because if Henry Cavill was the soul of the show, this was his ghost haunting Netflix in real time. And it didn't take long for that energy to turn into something bigger, a full-blown movement. It started small, a few Reddit threads, a couple of hashtags. But within days, it became a full-scale revolt. Hashtag #NotMyGeralt started trending, joined by hashtag #RespectTheLore and Sword. Emojis flooding every Netflix post. Petitions popped up demanding Cavill's return, and fan edits of his best scenes hit millions of views overnight. Old interviews resurfaced, showing how much he cared about the source material, and fans compared them side by side with the new tone. The difference was night and day. While fans poured out their passion, Netflix stayed silent, or worse, dismissive. A leaked insider quote reportedly said the studio was not concerned about online chatter. That only enraged people more, because this wasn't just chatter, it was heartbreak. The audience didn't feel heard. They felt ignored by the company they'd once trusted. And while Netflix tried to move on, something irreversible had already happened. The show's legacy had cracked wide open. As the storm grew, insider reports started leaking from the production. Claims of reshoots, tone confusion, and creative clashes filled the news cycle. Some said Liam wanted to make Geralt his own, but constant rewrites kept changing direction. Others blamed studio interference, saying the show was trying to be everything at once: action, drama, comedy, and ended up being none of them. Behind closed doors, there were whispers of exhausted writers and tense meetings. The magic was gone, replaced by corporate panic. Meanwhile, fans began drawing their own conclusion. Henry Cavill didn't leave because he was tired. He left because he saw it coming. In the end, the story of The Witcher 4 became something bigger than just a failed trailer. It became a symbol of what happens when passion meets profit and authenticity loses to algorithms. You can replace armor, you can recast faces, but you can't fake soul. And that's the lesson Netflix is learning the hard way. So here we are. The show that once defined fantasy TV now stands at a crossroads. Fans are divided, trust is shattered, and a legend has walked away. But the question remains, can The Witcher ever recover? Can it rebuild what it lost? Not in casting, not in visuals, but in heart? Because in the end, The Witcher's greatest battle was never fought on screen. It was fought for its soul. Maybe Netflix will listen. Maybe they won't. But one thing's for sure, Henry Cavill didn't just play Geralt. He defined what The Witcher stands for: loyalty, respect, and the courage to fight for the story you believe in. And that's something no amount of reshoots or reboots can ever replace.